and gentlemen, I introduce to you the 2014 Mazda 6. Thank you, Mazda, for bringing sexy back. Coming up next on the Fast Lane Car. Some names at you: Camry, Altima, Accord, Optima, Malibu. They all compete with this car, and you know what? I'm sorry, they don't hold a candle to its styling. I mean, just look at it. It's sexy. It's got curves. Mwah! And it starts at $21,000 for the base model. The Grand Touring, this one here, loaded to the gills, just over $30,000. It's a pretty good deal. Skyactiv. This is the new keyword for all Mazdas. They'll all have this engine soon, and basically it's a super high compression direct injected engine. This particular one, 2.5 liters. It is a 4-cylinder engine that has 184 horsepower and 185 pound-feet of torque. And that's not a lot, but it is very, very revvy, and it likes to rev fast. And more importantly, to some of you out there, there will be a turbo diesel version of this coming very, very soon. And it's going to have over 300 pound-feet of torque. This particular engine is hooked up to a 6-speed automatic transmission, which is interesting because a lot of guys are going to 7, 8, and even 9-speed automatic transmissions. But this is one of the smoothest transmissions I've ever sampled. Very nice interior. Mazda did a very smart thing by using different color stitching and slightly different fabrics and materials to make it look more premium. The reality is it's about as good as, say, a Camry's interior, but I like the fact that they used, instead of wood or fake wood, a metallic plastic swath that goes all the way through the interior. Actually looks pretty good. The fake metals look really real, and everything's within reach. They even have a knob over here in the center section, just south of the gear lever, a MMM style or iDrive style little knob with buttons. The thing I like though is that it's a very sporty interior. It feels like I'm in a sports car. The negative is, of course, very low ceiling. I'm a little over 6'1". Roman with the hair is 6'3", 6'4"-ish almost. It's got a lot of hair. No, he's actually 6'2", but the point is that we can fit, but not with a lot of extra headroom. Good legroom though. Best of all though, check out the back. I sit comfortably behind myself. Once again, I'm a little over 6'1", seat's not quite all the way back, and I have some pretty good legroom. And the seat is nicely scalloped in case I have even bigger legs like the freakishly long ones on Roman. Headroom's okay too. When I lean my head back, I'm not touching the roof, and that's rare for a car with such an excellent looking roofline. Trunk space is pretty good. It's a little shallow, but it'll hold at least 1.5 Nathans, and we all know that means about 2.5 big golf bags. Liftovers, a little bit on the high side. Once again, I would say middle of the pack. This thing just does everything right in the middle. Ride and handling is really good. Once again, this is a car that does everything good. Not everything amazing, but everything good. I would say, I've driven the Honda Accord, the new one, and it rides a little bit better. It's a little bit, the sound deadening's better. There's the dampening's a little bit better, but this is a little bit more sporty. It has a little bit more, how would you put it, liveliness in it, a little bit more Viagra in it, maybe a little bit more lead in the pencil. It's better. in that respect. So going around a corner, normally the steering is really light, and it's not my favorite thing in the world, but once you start speeding up and you start pushing it through the corner, the steering is nice and heavy, but not crazy heavy. So it's cutting the difference between really light, really heavy. It's right there in the middle. Once again, in the middle. Styling. Now I know I already talked about it a little bit, but coming from the back, I gotta do this, folks. Slap the rear. It's so good looking. They actually went through a lot of trouble, you can tell, on the clay models, just trying to mold every line to make them curve, to give it a Coke bottle shape, and to bring these lovely lines up. Everything moves up, and then it just kind of tapers lovely. And look at that. Huh? Metal bar back there? Had to do it twice. A couple issues. I come back to this teeny weeny screen for navigation. You have to focus on it so much that you really have to take your eyes off the road, and that's not good. Mazda seriously has this problem through their entire line of vehicles, these tiny little navi screens. So they need to make those bigger. I mean, hell, the Dodge Dart's nearly twice the size of this screen, so it needs to grow. I also have to give it up for these beautiful 19-inch wheels. I highly recommend them. They are just simply gorgeous. Look at that little rotary thing going on over there. Whew! Nice! You may have noticed that I didn't stand in front of this car once during this entire video, and there's a very good reason. Because you didn't want to see me, you wanted to see this, and I don't blame you. Dude, I know it's obvious. I love this car. On the TFL scale of buy it, lease it, rent it, or forget it, I'm definitely giving the Mazda6 a buy it. Look, it's got a couple little issues here and there, but for the most part, what you get for the money and how good it looks, it's fantastic. For the Fast Lane Cars, this is Nathan Adlin. See you next time. Nathan Adlin here with the Fast Lane Car, and look what I've got for you guys. Isn't that cool? It's a prototype. It's called the Jeep Grand Cherokee Trailhawk 2. As you can tell, my voice is nearly gone.